Hey everybody! Today we are going to take a look at another game in my collection of games. This time I'm going to review this guy here, LordsofXidit. This is a game that came out in 2014 from a French company named Libellud. This is a game that is supposed to be a game for 3 to 5 players. At least this is what it's written on the game box. But that player count is very wrong, because this game is not a 3-player game at all. You can play this game with 4 players, with 5 players the game is at its best, but this game shall never be played with 3 players. I did that repeatedly and I ended up hating this game. So if you do play this game with 3 players, you're not gonna enjoy it, much less like it. And I can guarantee you that. Well, now that we have gotten this out of the way, let me illustrate this game for you. In LordsofXidit, you'll be thrown into a far-flung kingdom of magic creatures, and interconnected cities. The game comes with this nice map for the kingdom of Xidit. You can use this map to get a better look at the kingdom and its cities. And if you do take a look at this map, you see that the city that is represented, that is featured here on the front of the game box, that is actually the capital city of the kingdom of Xidit. And surprise, surprise, that city is also called Xidit. Take a look. That is the city right there, the capital city. So since this is the capital city, they predictably placed it right at the center of the kingdom. The kingdom of Xidit has always been a very peaceful kingdom where magical creatures and humans have always coexisted peacefully. Now a curse has spread across the land of Xidit, turning these peaceful creatures into evil monsters, turning them against the local communities. And they have started attacking cities, terrorizing the kingdom, killing innocent citizens. So you can imagine that the kingdom of Xidit is going through a hell of trouble. And to put an end to this desperate situation, they're reaching out for your help. In this game, you're going to impersonate one of the bravest heroes in the land of Xidit. You're going to be a member of an elite group of warriors called Idrakis or Idrakis. I do not know which of the two pronunciation is correct. This guy right here on the front of the game box, he is an Idrakis himself. And in this game, you're gonna get one of these programming boards matching the color of the character that you decide to pick. And this programming board lets you select the actions that you want to perform on your turn in advance. What do I mean by that? You can select your actions by rotating these dials, you see, and they are punched to the actual board, and you do that before your turn begins, at the same time as your opponents. Then on your turn, you're going to perform these actions in order. Basically, moving your character from a city to another city, recruiting fighting units, building yourself an army, and then also engaging in battles with monsters, liberating the cities from the menace of these evil creatures. This is essentially the game. Then later on, at a later stage in the game, you're gonna have to fight mighty evil titans that will show up on the board and will make the fights even more exciting. So this essentially is my introduction to LordsofXidit. Let's now dig deeper into this game. Let's get up close and personal with LordsofXidit. So as you can see, I've already laid out all the components for this game. Here I've set up the game for 3 players. We are playing the blue character, and we are playing the blue character against the black and the red characters. Here, over there at the opposite edge of the table, there's also the dummy player board, because we are playing 3 players here. So we are not going to talk about that board at all, because it doesn't affect the way the game plays, but it does play a big role in determining who's going to be the winner. So we're going to talk about it later on towards the end of this video. For now, let's just dig into the rules of this game, and let me give you more details, extra information on how to play this game, how you set it up, and how you get ready for a match of Lords of Xidit, okay? So here we are playing our blue character. We've got the full set on our side of the table. We've got our programming board, our little standee for our dude, our character here. There he is. Then we've got our character screen, which actually should be placed on the table like this. It should be sitting upright, just like the other 2 character screens. But for the sake of this recording, I'm just going to leave it like this because it looks way nicer, okay? Then we've got our little reserve of liar tokens, which should be concealed by your character screen at all times, so that your opponent does not know how many liar tokens you've got left. Then we've got these our reserve of plastic figurines for our buildings, of our matching our color. There's actually more than that, but I left the others back in their bag, in the game box. Then we've got the first player token, which tells us that we are the first player. Okay, so before we actually get into the rules of how you play this game, you need to know a little difference between these 2 tiles here. These are called city tiles, and the difference between these 2 tiles is just this little crown icon right here. The icon means that this tile here can be played when you can be used when you play this game with 3 players. If you play this game with 4 or 5 players, instead you use this type of tiles, okay? And the difference is also that this tile that you use with 3 players has got 4 spots to fill. This one instead has got 5. Then if you flip these tiles up, for example, you see we've got 2 monsters here. So on the other side, on the reverse side, we've got these city tiles turn into monster tiles. But I'm going to tell you more about these tiles later on. So now let's pick this one. We are playing 3 players here. So this tile has got a number right in the middle. That is the number of the city that this tile is going to be placed upon. So number 8. This tile is going to cover city number 8 out on the map of the city, on the map of the Kingdom of Xidit. And before we do that, we also have to grab the figurines, which are going to fill the spot here. And those figurines, you get them from over there. When your character moves to this city, he can pick up and recruit one of these units. For example, here we've got 2 armed peasants, 1 cleric, and 1 battle mage. And you pick them up, you recruit them following the order that is told here, that is indicated here by these arrows, okay? So you first pick you first have to pick up the armed peasant. Then if this spot is void, because an armed peasant has already been recruited, you move to the next one, then the next one, and so forth, okay? When all the spots have been emptied, then this tile here is going to go over here, and eventually it will be recycled as a monster, and it will join the pile of the monsters. Now, as for monsters, they have these 2 icons here, which tell us that you need an archer and an axeman to defeat this monster. This is the city number, by the way, and here we're looking at 3 different options for your rewards. These are options for your rewards that you can choose from when you defeat the monster. So the first thing here to notice is that here defeating this monster allows us to put out 3 buildings from our reserve. The second option, instead, you can grab 4 gold coins from this treasure chest here, and you have to place these gold coins behind your character screen here. Along your liar tokens, because the opponents should never know the amount of gold coins that you make during the game. That is crucial to winning the game, okay? The third option instead is the amount of the number of lyre tokens that you can actually put out on the board. Now, if this monster was actually here instead of city number 8, it was assigned to city number 12, then I'll be able to grab 2 lyre tokens from my reserve and place them here in this region, which is right next to the city where the monster is placed, or I can place them here in this neighboring region or here in the middle. And if I choose to place them in the middle, then we are looking at this cardboard castle here, which has 2 slits on the rooftop, and here we actually have to slot them through. Then at the end of the game, we are going to remove this castle, and we're going to take a look at the number of lyre tokens left that were actually stashed in this castle. And the character, the player who plays the most of the lyre tokens is going to be awarded 6 points. The second most is going to get 4 points. I was almost forgetting about the Mighty Evil Titans. If you ever run out of monsters here, monster tiles, and there's no monster tiles here that you can pick and put out on the board, then you are forced to reveal the Mighty Evil Titans. You reveal all 3 of them, and let's take a closer look at one of them. For example, here we've got our super powerful Titan. As you see, it's just a stronger version, a bossy version of your generic monster, and it yields greater rewards, but it also has a bigger price that you have to pay in order to slay this monster. And in this case, for example, you need to sacrifice 5 of your fighting units and place them back into the barracks from your character screen in order to slay this Titan. And the question marks suggest that you can use any kind of fighting units as long as you have 5 units, at least 5 units in your army, okay? And you can do that if your character is ever in a city where there's no city tile or no monster tile on it. So in this case, for example, if a character was here on city number 16, but you'd be able to decide to kill one of the titans. But you do that, of course, programming it in advance using your programming board. So real quick, let's take a look at how you use this thing. First of all, you start with action 1, and then you continue with all the rest of your actions, and you do your pre-programming thing before your turn begins, starting with action 1. For example, let's say that for my first action, I don't want to do anything. This X means that my character is just going to remain there on the city where it is, and he's not going to do anything for this turn. Then it's going to be second player turn, then third player turn. When it's back to me, I continue with my second action. I decided for my second action to, okay, this doesn't work at all. Let's say that I set this one here. Then I'll move my character from city 16 to city 15. And in city 15, when it's back to me, I want to recruit a unit. So I choose this icon here. In this case, following the arrows, I can pick this guy here, this little figurine, the armed peasant, and from now on, this armed peasant is going to join my army. So I place him behind my character screen. Then for my fourth action, I'm going to move along the black track. And so I move here to city number 8, where there's a monster. And let's say that I had enough units to kill that monster, so I will pick this action here and engage in a battle with this monster here. You see, this monster asks you to sacrifice an archer and an axeman. So let's say that I had both here in my reserve behind my character screen. Then I would use them, both my archer and my axeman. You see these two? I will put them back into the barracks and I will defeat the monster, then collecting the rewards of my choice. Here we have these 3 tiles here, which are very important for determining the winner of this game. In order to determine the winner of this game, you have to shuffle them and then randomly assign them to these 3 available spots here. This random assignment, for example, tells us that the first thing we're going to take a look at is the number of gold coins. So all the players are going to remove their character screen, and we're going to take a look at the gold coins that were hidden by the character screen. The character who made the most of the money then is going to move on to the second assessment. The guy with the smallest amount of money then is going to be eliminated. During the second assessment here we are taking a look at the number of buildings. So if the player with the smallest amount of buildings, with the fewest buildings built out in the Kingdom of Xidit, is going to be eliminated. As for the third round instead, the player who was able to put out the most of the large tokens is going to be the winner. Then it's actually possible that the dummy player, you see there are 3 tracks for these 3 different items, for these 3 different symbols, so gold, buildings and lyre. It's actually possible that, because this amount is going to increase during the game, and it's actually possible that a dummy player can eliminate one of the characters, one of the other players, and that I can tell you, I can assure you that hurts, because you're basically getting eliminated by non-living player, and that really sucks. Anyway, I think I've covered everything about this game, and yes, so here you have it, LordsofXidit. So what do I really think about LordsofXidit? Well, like I said in the introduction, I ended up hating this game because I played this game lots of times with 3 players, and I remember that I was quite frustrated because the game didn't work out at all. At first I thought that I got some of the rules wrong, that I did not read the rule book correctly, which by the way is made up of 20 pages, and I don't know, I thought that I was missing something. Then I realized that actually looking at other review videos and reading other reviews, I realized that the problem wasn't me, but the problem was actually the game, and that probably Libellud or the other publishers that then published this game and introduced this game to other markets around the world, they probably used the number 3 in the player count as a kind of a ripoff in order to get more people into the game, because it's really difficult, very rare to get 4 or 5 people around the table playing a board game. Most of my friends, they call board games silly games, stupid games, and they've grown out of this kind of thing, they have grown out of them. But I haven't, and I actually love playing them. Even those games that I'm not really hyped up about. And this game is one of them. I can't say that it's a bad game. I would call this game a family game. I think people out there who have a family, who have a big family and have many children, I think they will have a good time with this game, because this game will be perfect for that kind of situation, for big families with lots of people spending afternoons together around the table and just enjoying a board game. And also the theme of the game, I'm sure you have already got an idea for yourself by watching this review video. The theme is very light. This is a very light game. I really like this idea of Idrakees, these warriors roaming, crisscrossing the kingdom to fight off these evil creatures that have been transformed due to a curse that has spread across the land. There's a very cool idea behind the game, I have to be honest, but that kind of, really makes me feel quite excited about it. But still, the game hasn't got much depth, because there aren't any other sources out there that I can look at, that I can document myself, with. But I can document myself with. I know that this game is part of a bigger universe that was expanded in other games also published by Libellud and Asmodee, but you know, this is not really the kind of game that I like to you know, to get more knowledgeable about. I bought it many years ago, so you know, at that time it looked appealing to me, but now not anymore. And I'm looking at games that are for grown-ups, you know, for people more of my age, who have a different kind of preferences anyway. So this is a very light game. I will put it forward for a family. I say that for your typical family occasion, this game will play perfectly, especially if you have kids. The review, the grade that I'm going to give this, the final grade that I'm going to give this to this game is not going to be very high, but it's understandable and I have justified it. So this was my review video of LordsofXidit. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. From Italy, bye. Ciao ciao.